Hello, folks. My name is Dale Skipper. I have been a sufferer of anxiety for many, many years. And partway into my struggle with anxiety, I was made aware of something called CBT. CBT stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. So, although I've learned many, many helpful tips that have helped me over the years in dealing with anxiety, I want to share with you folks today the single best thing that I have learned to date to help me to understand anxiety and to know what I can do about it. I want you to think of your life as a fish aquarium. Picture just a basic glass fish tank, okay? Your life is represented by the fish tank. We start adding water into the fish tank, and as the water begins to rise, that water would be symbolic to the stress in our lives. We have daily stresses like work stress, stress at home, stress at school, just demands that are placed on our time. We commit to things. Often, if you're like me, maybe you commit to too many things and you get stressed out from that. So just the day-to-day stressors of life. And then there's big stressors. Stressors like moving, getting married, having a child, getting divorced, death of a family member, loss of a job. There are many, many things that can be big, giant stressors in our life. So think of the day-to-day stress as being like sticking a hose in that tank and it's just slowly rising. Think of those big life stressors as like dumping in buckets of water and the water level is rising up quite quickly. Once the water gets to the top, I want you to imagine there's a switch. And when that switch is activated at the top of the tank, that is when the anxiety response happens in our lives. It's called the fight or flight response. Now, it's normal for us to have a fight or flight response. It's healthy. It's what's been designed in us to keep us safe. If, for example, you were being chased by a lion or a bear, you would get an immediate adrenaline rush, a spike that would give you energy to be able to either fight the bear or to flight, take off, to run like crazy to keep you safe. So that's a normal response. What's not normal is when we're stuck in a fight or flight response all the time. Okay, so the water level's getting high. It's up near the very top. It's activated our fight or flight response. And that's when we're feeling anxiety and panic. This used to happen to me in the middle of the night. I would get up to use the washroom and all of a sudden I'd be struck with a panic attack. I'd have troubles breathing, my heart would be racing, my palms would be sweaty. I would just be freaking out, thinking I was dying. That's the interesting thing about a panic attack. Every single time, it's been my experience that it seems to be able to trick you into thinking, this time I actually am dying. Anyways, I would have these panic attacks for no apparent reason. I would understand if I had that burst of energy or that jolt of energy, that shock to the system, if I saw a bear or a tiger and I needed to run for my life. But why was I experiencing anxiety at a movie theater, sitting at home watching TV, again, in the night, going to the washroom? So I learned this awesome thing that our lives, once we have too much accumulated tension and stress, our body activates the fight or flight response, and sometimes that switch can almost stay open. It's like it's broke and it's stuck in open. So we need to get that switch to shut off. So here's the great news of all this. We can shut that switch off. There are things that we can do to shut that off. So what are some things? My favorite would be a hot Epsom salts bath. Fill up your bathtub with water as hot as you can stand for about 20 minutes. Put in a cup or two of Epsom salts, stir it up. I like to add some lavender essential oil. And wow, 10 times out of 10, that helps me out. The next day I feel so much better. And I think, why don't I do this more often? So that can lower our stress response. Another one, watching a funny movie. Watch a comedy. I don't know if you can see, but over top of me I have the entire Seinfeld collection. I like Seinfeld. It makes me laugh. Laughing can lower your stress response. Getting a massage. Do you have a good massage therapist? Have you ever had a professional massage? It can work wonders in lowering your stress response. Hanging out with friends, visiting, just communicating with people. is fantastic for lowering your stress response. Exercise, also great for lowering your stress response. So that's the good news, folks. You can have that tension level at the very top of your tank, flipping that switch open. But the good news is we can lower that water level, the tension level in our lives by some of the things that I just mentioned. To recap, massage, hot Epsom salts bath, exercise, laughter, watching a comedy, spending time with friends and family, basically just doing things that you know will help you to relax. Deep breathing is another great one. It's also known as belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, where you're basically breathing with your belly as opposed to your lungs. It is your lungs, of course, but when you breathe in, you can feel your belly expand. You know you're doing it right if your belly is expanding as you breathe in. So you can look up different videos on how to do diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, deep breathing. That will help tremendously. And one other is muscle tension and relaxation exercises. They're phenomenal at lowering your stress response. So you can look up other ways. There's tons of things that we can do to lower our stress response, but that for me was the good news. That was my aha moment. I knew once I learned that there was things that I could do that were within my control to help me deal with my anxiety. I hope this video helped. I hope it helped you to learn some tips that can help you to feel better as well. Have a great day.